Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
So I guess that we all know what's happening. The biggest story in the last 48 hours has to do with the director of the spokesperson for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who has been he has some kind of a brush with the law. EOCO invited him, and he's been there in the last 48 hours. Yesterday he was released. Now, the Daily Guide, I'm going to read the Daily Guide version of exactly what happened, and then I would pick your thoughts on that as well. So it's a Daily Guide report that says that nearly 48 hours after the arrest of New Patriotic Party Dennis Miracles Aboagye at the Accra International Airport, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, on Monday evening granted him a 50 million cedis bail with 3 sureties, 2 of whom must be justified with landed property. According to NPP officials, the property requirements translates to documents valued at about 500 billion cedis, that's old cedis. Now, Mr. Aboagye, a former executive secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, is being investigated over alleged financial and procurement-related irregularities involving 55 million cedis during his tenure. He has been investigated alongside the former accountant of IMCCOD, Mr. Akyea, and other unnamed persons over alleged financial and procurement-related irregularities at the Secretariat. According to EOCO, the offences and investigations are conspiracy to stealing, using public office for profit, causing financial loss to the state, dissipation of public funds, defrauding by false pretenses, and money laundering. Now, lawyers for Dennis Miracles Aboagye indicates that their client has been unable to meet the bail conditions imposed by EOCO following his arrest. They now raise concerns over the 50 million cedis bail bond, which requires 3 sureties, 2 of whom must be justified, describing the conditions as difficult to satisfy. Speaking to the media at EOCO's headquarters, lead counsel Samuel Atacha questioned how his client could realistically secure the required sureties and qualifying properties within the available time frame. How is he going to be released? How is he going to post the bail bonds? 50 million cedis, 3 sureties, 2 to be justified. How can that be met? And where are you going to find properties worth 50 million cedis and finding it tonight? He questions. Meanwhile, Mr. Aboagye was yesterday reportedly escorted by officials of EOCO to his residence at Akyea as part of ongoing investigations. The development forms part of the ongoing probe as investigations continue. Engagement with Mr. Aboagye and other relevant parties. EOCO has not publicly disclosed details of the purpose of the visit in his residence. Now, we're told after Mr. Aboagye ended his tenure as the Executive Secretary of IMCCOD on February 2, 2025, Dr. Dominic Gamele took over on February 17. Now, he later commissioned a forensic audit of the Secretariat's accounts for a period Mr. Aboagye served. In November 2025, he wrote to Mr. Aboagye with administrative audit queries. According to Mr. Aboagye, he responded every question in detail within a week. On February 28, 2026, he also voluntarily honored an EOCO invitation. He spent less than an hour with investigators who said they would recall him if further clarification was needed. Mr. Aboagye says at no point was he told he committed an offense with Accountant General Mensah. Now, he has since lived openly in Ghana, making only one brief trip abroad weeks ago. EOCO said a stop travel order had been placed on him a week before his return. The office says such orders are meant to prevent a suspect from leaving the country, not to bar re-entry. Critics, including the NPP, say arresting him at the airport was unnecessary given his prior cooperation. Had EOCO extended an invitation for Monday morning, he would have honored it without incident, the party argued. EOCO now alleges that Mr. Aboagye and the Accountant General Mensah embezzled state funds. The office claims Mr. Mensah has begun refunding the loot. It has, however, not stated how much of the alleged 55 million cedis was involved or how much has been paid back. This is a calculated attempt to use bail as a tool for punishment rather than a mechanism to ensure a suspect shows up for trial. And it goes on and on. I'm going to end with this. Now, after holding Mr. Aboagye for 48 hours, he has now been released from the custody of EOCO after satisfying his 50 million bail conditions. Video circulating on social media yesterday evening showed that the NPP communicators in handcuffs being arrested by EOCO officers out of the headquarters in Accra before being ushered into a waiting vehicle by members of his legal team and associates. All right. Richard, I'll start with you. You still insist that the state has been high-handed on miracles, given everything that has happened.
Yeah. Good morning to you, to Akyea, and to your viewers. The question I keep asking myself was, and then throughout, and remains the question, is that was all that necessary? Given that a stop order that was put by EOCO was in effect or became effective after the man has already left Ghana, and then upon his return is actually entering the zone where that stop order was going to be effective.
Okay.
Because meaning that subsequently he couldn't travel out of the country. And the objective of that stop order by EOCO is to have him within Ghana, where when they need him, they can find him. So that confirms a certain awareness by EOCO that Dennis, if they want him, they can find him insofar as he is in the country. So, true to form, the man has come to the country.
Okay.
Where your stop order.
Yeah, Richard, I beg you. I'll just need 5 minutes of your time. We just want to get some quick clarification from his lawyer. He's joined us. Lawyer Thatcher has joined us now. Good morning, counsel.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you're doing well, sir.
I am indeed.
Right. Are you the only lawyer for Dennis Miracles Aboagye, or there are others?
There are others, no.
Okay.
I was informed that a very good friend of mine too is in the background.
Okay. So in all, we are looking how many? 2, 3, 4, 5 lawyers?
Oh, at the moment I could count about 6.
About 6 lawyers.
Because the NPP head of legal too is part of it.
Okay, that's Gary Nimaku.
Yes, indeed, he's part of it. Yeah.
Okay, I see. First of all, how's Dennis doing? Where is he? How is he taking everything that's happened to him so far?
Well, I was surprised at his composure, because it's not easy for somebody to be arrested at the airport and then detained close to 48 hours. And I could only meet him in the morning. So it was incommunicado until I came in and I inquired of his health and everything. And it's good. But I think the matters are a bit tweaked. And if you look at the interrogation, it's not what was put in the public space at all.
Was he given the best of treatment whilst in the custody of EOCO, according to what he tells you?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, he was not tortured. And then the access to food of your choice. So they bring the food. I mean, the family bring the food and then they give it to him to have his meals. So he was not tortured, but I could tell you that any kind of funny incarceration is not comfortable.
Right. I know that's true. Now, how easy or difficult was it for you to meet the bail bonds?
It's because of probably his stature and how people had confidence in him. Because 50 million Ghana cedis, 3 sureties, 2 to be justified, is not easy for an ordinary person. It's because of probably his stature, and he's well known. A strong figure in NPP, very articulate and the rest of it. So people felt very, very sad that he's going through such a shabby treatment. So they posted the bill. And what it is that the bill was sounded close to 8 p.m. So where would you find all the people who can give you the properties at that hour, holy hour? So it seems to me that it's a calculated attempt to get him further incarcerated, and which is very sad for our democracy. It's not good at all.
When you hear lawyers talk about sureties to be justified for a layman or for a mere mortal, what does that mean?
It means that as a condition of the bill, bring an individual who owns property, and that is, you use his property as a security that you will come to appear before them one more time or when you are needed. And so the justification means that it should be backed by property.
Okay, and should that property be necessarily worth 50 million cedis?
It should. So you can put 2 together, like in this instance where they are talking about 2 to be justified. That means if 2 can put together their properties, and the worth of the 2 properties will be equal to 50 million Ghana cedis, then you've met the bail condition.
And this is only in respect of Dennis alone?
Yes.
And
it's a pattern which we should look at critically, because it's subversive of the Constitution.
Why?
And let me explain.
Please do.
When you say you are investigating a matter, and what you are investigating is $500 million, it doesn't mean go and bring the White House as a condition for the bail. What it means is that we want you to appear before us when we need you. Give us some guarantees. So when you go into the Constitution, it says that reasonable conditions that you appear. So when you confuse the value that the investigator is placing on the so-called crime with the conditions for the man coming back to him, it's an aberration. It's wrong. Because what it means also is that if somebody should conjure a figure, $200 million, and then you are unable to provide it, then he's using bail to further incarcerate you. And that is not the intent of the law.
Is this an opinion you've always held?
It is a pattern which existed in Akufo-Addo's regime, Kufuor's regime, Atamil's regime. Even Rawlings's era, you didn't hear like, oh, somebody has appeared before a state institution, and the state institution is claiming that what is being investigated is in the sum of $100 million, and come and post bail in equal sum. It's something that is very, very funny.
Hold on, Atacha. Are you saying what we're witnessing today never happened in the past?
I never heard it in the past that when they were investigating a matter, and they would tell you that we are investigating a matter of $100 million against you, post a bail of equal sum. I've never heard it. Because what it means is that if you use the figure as a condition for the person coming back to him, he might not find a property worth that. What happens to him? He's still under your captivity. Is that not so? That is not intent of the Constitution at all.
Okay. I don't want us to litigate over this because I have a scenario I wanted us to cast our mind back. I'm talking about the Dr. Kwabena Duffuor scenario where he was actually asked to pay 60 million at the time, 60 million cedis as bail conditions. His lawyers at the time complained and said that was too high, you know, looking at the nature and the magnitude and the size of the case. But for me, that's not really, my point is that it's not new. These things have happened in the past. But the principle that, so, but the principle which you have espoused is something that we all must take seriously, which is that for now, it remains an allegation. And so when the bail bond is high, it's at a certain threshold that makes it difficult for the person to be granted bail, it becomes a problem. It's happened in the past, it's happening today, and it means that we need to have a conversation about it. Did you understand what I'm saying, Akyea?
I do.
Okay.
I do. That is a sensible posture, and it's also the constitutional posture.
Right.
You see, because if the investigator confuses the bail sum, you see, with what is investigating, it's a problem, a big problem.
So the question we need to ask is, what is it about the law that makes state investigative institutions use bail sum as basis for determining the size of what you ought to bring by way of, in determining the bail bonds? We ought to get to the bottom of that, because it appears there's some lacuna somewhere, and we need to get to the bottom of that.
There is no lacuna. It's a wretched power play. That is all that there is. I have the power to arrest you. I've arrested you. Let me create very obnoxious circumstances so that you are further incarcerated. That is what it is.
All right.
There's no. I mean, excuse me to say, confusion about it. It's just a very wretched and foul power play.
Okay. All right. So what's the way forward? I mean, has Dennis Miracles formally been charged? What do you know?
It's not. No. They are just going through the investigation. He's not been charged at all.
He's not been charged at all.
Yes, please.
So as we speak, the matter is just being investigated.
That is so. Finally, the matter is being investigated.
Okay. Finally, this stop order, which was issued by EOCO, Did you find out from Miracles whether he was aware of the stop order?
He wasn't aware of the stop order.
He wasn't aware.
And it's one of the needless, power play that we should also look at.
Okay.
And it has gotten to do with how can a man coming into the realm called Ghana be arrested at the airport? Because if you called him, as he had been called before, he came. He went to EOCO on his own accord before. So just a phone call away. Miracles, we are now ready to interrogate you. Can you come over with your lawyer? That is all you need to do. But then you just arrest him at the very wrong place and then detain him for close to 48 hours. What are you trying to achieve? And during the 48 hours, you didn't ask him one question. You didn't do any interrogation within that period. I can't come to terms with this unprofessional behaviors.
Okay. Natasha, good morning once again. Thanks for talking to us.
My joy as always.
All right, then. Have a good day. Thank you. Yeah, Richard, please go ahead.
Well, you just made a point I was just about making, which is that you have relationship with him in terms of this investigation. He has attended upon the invitation and shown you every commitment that when needed, he will come. He is not running away. He's not shown that. If anything at all, he went and he's coming back to the country. And at that point, though, may not be able to travel again because of the stop order you have put in place. So you've got him where you want him. And so what is the value of the drama we saw? And now Lawyer Akyea is revealing that for the period that you seized him from the airport, Saturday, Sunday, till Monday, you didn't ask him one question. That's confounding. So why did you seize him? For what? To punish him? Now, you can imagine that if I invite you to my house, for example, and you've come, and I just leave you in the living room and then just went about doing my thing. Even though it is not an arrest, it's very uncomfortable.
Right.
It is torturing psychologically. Just put somebody there, you can't go home. Okay, you can't stay here, but you can't go home either. The point is that we have the power to seize you, and we have seized you. It's a clear case of abuse.
Right.
That should not be done to anybody. Anybody. It shouldn't be done to anybody, not to Miracles, not to anybody, because it's torturing psychologically, because you don't know why you are there. You are there, you are confined, you are restricted, your rights are curtailed, and you are just put there. And the import is that we can do it, so we are doing it. What can you do about it? Nothing. It is very, very unsettling that that's what we have come to.
Okay.
In essence, and I hope Uncle Kwesi will agree with me, that based on what we have just heard, the revelation, that from Saturday, when the man was seized and kept in their rooms, not a single question was asked him relative to the investigation.
Really?
Makes it needless that he was arrested. Absolutely needless. Because what do you need him for? To ask him questions. It's urgent. So you can allow him to go home and come Monday, where in history, your relationship with him suggests that if you needed him anytime and call him, he would come because he came in the past. So if you have a question for him, could have let him go home. But you say no. You seize him on a Saturday, creating the impression that it's urgent, that it's a risk, you want him. Something must be going on for what reason you needed him at the airport to come to your premises. And you did that. And for that intervening period until Monday, you didn't ask him one question. So why did you seize him? Is that needful? That you say, I need to arrest you, and you arrest the person. You left him there, no question. If it's needful, maybe that's why I say Uncle Kwesi cannot disagree with me, because he must agree. To the extent that you arrest somebody, create the impression that it's important I arrest you, and you don't ask him a single question for close to 2 days. That is the height of abuse of the state power to arrest. And so this whole thing, for me, goes to the heart of the intimidation we have been talking about. that this government is behaving in ways that appears very tyrannical. And for me, I am worried, more essentially because this doesn't marry with President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's personality and his record that we know. So my worry and my concern and perhaps my doubt is, why is he allowing this thing to happen? Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with him. Whether he sanctioned it, whether he called Mr. Akyea and said, go ahead, I'm fully behind you, and all of that, whether he did that or not, he will have to bear responsibility. It is his administration this is happening. And I see your argument to say that this perhaps may have happened yesterday and all of that. The question is that, should we entrench? And what was the argument then? Would that argument just simply be nullified because we have the chance to do it and so therefore it's okay today? Not at all. So the best thing for me that me, myself, and Akyea should agree this morning is to say that this is wrong. It shouldn't be repeated. One too many times it's happened. Let's draw the line here and say never again. Okay. People who have done anything worthy of them being questioned in our administration have shown commitment that they want to answer questions. And in this particular case, the individual is available and willing.
All right.
So ordinarily, he has arrived in a country where your stop order will make it impossible for him to travel again. You let him go home. Monday you call him. As usual, he would have come. And then what question you want to ask? You want to take him to his hometown? You want to take him to his house? You want to go and see his girlfriend or wife or whatever you want to do? He will oblige you. But what you have done is to show where power lies.
Okay.
And that is an abuse. That is not consistent with what they call the President Mahama's oath to uphold the Constitution, to ensure that the rights of citizens are respected, that our Constitution is upheld in all instances and defended. So I think that this perhaps will not repeat itself. Okay. And on the bail matter, briefly before Akyea comes, it's been a pattern. And I can imagine how it is where you have an individual who cannot marshal the resources, either through friends or however way, to meet that bail condition. And short of going to court and have a court review that, you have authorities, investigative authorities, holding somebody in perpetuity. And if it's going to take another 1 year to do the investigation, it presupposes that if you can't meet the bail condition, you'll be held up until when you are tried, found guilty or not, before you can have your freedom. Is that what we want? More or less holding bail as evidence or as a means to punish people. Okay. And for all you know, these are mere allegations. And if at the end of the day, the person is found not guilty of any crime, then what happens? Right. Then what happens? Then you have abused the right of that person. And worst of all, he didn't have access to his lawyers. You, the EOCO officials, didn't talk to him for the entire period. He didn't have access to his lawyers. Literally, you just seized him as a kid and say, time out, go and sit there till we are ready to talk to you. Right. That's a clear abuse and ought not to happen again. Okay.
From January to June this year, notable progress has been made across the forestry, the mining, and the lands subsectors. These achievements reflect the collective efforts of government, our agencies, development partners, traditional authorities, local communities, and private sector stakeholders. I wish to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to all our stakeholders for their continued partnership and support. Together, we will continue to build a natural resource sector that delivers lasting benefits for present and future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, the following are the key achievements of the subsectors, and I'll start with the forestry subsector. I'm sure you are aware that despite the immense contribution of forestry subsector to the national economy, the sector continues to face deforestation and forest degradation with their consequences to our existence. To address these issues, a number of strategic actions have been undertaken by the ministry. Start with the first very important one, the Tree for Life Reforestation Initiative. This flagship program initiative was launched by His Excellency President John Mahama, and this program seeks to restore degraded forest reserves and mine out areas and transform them into ecologically functional landscapes. The impact of the program remains a significant intervention in government's aggressive environmental restoration agenda. In 2025 alone, about 31 million seedlings were planted. In fact, our target was 30, we exceeded it. And we achieved a success rate of 50 to 78% in the northern savanna and the 65 to 85% recorded in the high forest zone, resulting in the restoration of approximately 23,600 hectares of degraded landscapes. Based on this success, the ministry is maintaining the planting target of 30 million seedlings this year, which we commenced on the 5th of June until the end of the rainy season. To support the implementation, the Forestry Commission has engaged and deployed 2,719 youth forest champions who are actively involved in nursery operations, seedling production, site preparation, tree planting, maintenance, wildfire prevention, and protection of forest reserves. The general public is encouraged to join this national campaign of tree planting and nurturing to make Ghana green. I want to use this opportunity to express the ministry's profound gratitude to corporate Ghana and other stakeholders who have supported this initiative. Second, on the forestry, is addressing illegal mining in our forest reserve. Ladies and gentlemen, in our determination to protect our forests from illegal mining activities, the ministry, working closely with the Forestry Commission and other stakeholders, intensified enforcement operations within forest reserves. And these are the results. Just in the last 6 months, we arrested 258 suspects, demobilized 6 excavators, 1,225 pumping machines were seized. We demobilized 765 Shamfan machines. We destroyed 35 tricycles. Motorbikes that were seized were 212. Structures destroyed, 430. And gold detectors that we seized was 40. All this in the forest reserve alone. And I'm happy to tell you, today I'm not here to tell you about red zones because we have not had any red zone, which means that government supporting the Forestry Commission is firmly in control of our forests. Wildlife resource management regulations. As part of efforts to strengthen wildlife conservation and management, the ministry, in collaboration with the Forestry Commission, is developing a legislative instrument to give effect to Wildlife Resource Management Act 1115. The legislative instrument, when approved, will provide legal backing, operational guidelines for community resource management areas, we call them CREMA, which has now become a model for engaging communities, landowners in sustainable forest management. And then we already have talked briefly about the reclamation in minor areas. The ministry, working with private sector, has embarked on an aggressive strategy to reclaim degraded mine-out areas and transform them into ecological zones. The last time we were here, we talked about how huge that responsibility is in terms of how much we have to reclaim on this destroy line. In partnership with private sector, I can tell you that just last year we reclaimed 1,335 acres of degraded land. And this was done in the Ashanti region. We have gotten commitment from private sector to undertake more reclamation, and we are targeting another 1,500 reclamation this year. And this in addition to the government's own reclamation effort of 960 acres in selected area registry. So we hope to improve those numbers. On ecotourism promotion and revenue diversification, one of the key priorities of government is to maximize revenue from forest and wildlife resources. To achieve this, the ministry, through the Forestry Commission, is improving ecotourism facilities within our national parks and resource reserves. Our focus this year will be on the completion of the 120-seater a picnic area, and 10-unit chalet at the Shah Hills Resource Reserve. Additionally, 20-room tourist accommodation and restaurant at the Mole Park will be completed. Let me say that this is a huge opportunity for private sector partnership with the Forestry Commission, and our doors are open for those discussions. We want Ghanaians to visit our forest reserve and travel in with families, and we think that we can open that opportunity. Another key achievement is the issuance of forest law enforcement government and trade licenses. We call it FLET licenses. As you may recall, Ghana in August 2025 became the first country in Africa and second only in the world to qualify for the issuance of FLET licenses. Since then, Ghana has issued 600 licenses to 22 destinations in the European Union. At the end of the second quarter of this year, we had issued 411 licenses. The FLET license has enhanced Ghana's credibility in the timber trade internationally, because this FLET license simply says that Ghana's timber is sourced sustainably and from very approved legal sources. And that's what this FLET license does. It's giving Ghana a lot of mileage in the international arena. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important news in the forestry sector as well. I'm happy to announce a historic cabinet decision taken on the 24th of June 2026 to revoke Executive Instrument EI 144 as amended by EI 234, effectively ensuring that the Achimota Forest retains its original status as a forest reserve and providing ecological safety zone for Accra and its environments. And you have to clap for that. If you think about it, this is the only last man standing forest cover in Accra, and President Mahama is determined to protect it at all costs. Ladies and gentlemen, I now move to the Minerals Commission. The mining subsector recorded significant achievements aimed at strengthening regulations, enhancing value addition, improving safety, and combating illegal mining. First is the passage of the Minerals and Mining Royalties Regulations 2025, LI 2517. A major legislative milestone this year is the passage of the Minerals and Mining Royalties Regulation, which establishes a sliding scale royalty payment, presents strategically adaptive framework for both the Republic as the resource owner and mining companies as contractors and investors. This regime ensures that government captures significant revenue during periods of rising commodity prices or production booms, while conversely alleviating financial strain on companies during downturns by reducing rates to prevent negative cash flow, encourage continuous operations, and guarantee job security. And this is very, very important. And so the regulations is a win-win for not only the people of Ghana, but for the industry as well. We want to ensure there's continuity of operations at all times, while government also takes advantage when there's a boom. We have also reviewed the minerals and mining policy that has been in place since 2014. I'm happy to announce that the minerals and mining policy that has been in place since 2014 has been revised and approved by Cabinet this year. This policy seeks to indigenize mining by strengthening local content through domestic value addition to minerals, improve linkages to manufacturing industry, and deal decisively with the menace of illegal mining and the protection of our environment. Another important milestone is the review of the Minerals and Mining Act that has been in place since 2006 at 703. Following extensive stakeholder engagement, the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 at 703, which has been operational for over 28 years, has also been reviewed and endorsed by Cabinet for onward transmission to Parliament for approval. Currently, it's being gazetted. The revised bill provides an updated, coherent, and forward-looking legal regime to ensure that mining contributes immensely to national development. And I'll give you some few highlights on some of the changes that you will see in this new act. The Act introduces district mining committees. And forever, we are going to finally empower communities where the mining takes place by saying that anybody who is going to be engaged in licenses will begin the licensing process with the communities. They will give the recommendations before you come to Accra. We have removed reconnaissance and prospecting licenses and replaced it with exploration licenses fixed for 5 years, maximum. Why? For a long time, the industry has been occupied by speculators who have simply taken licenses and occupied the whole of Ghana and do nothing. We want serious investment that are focused on the serious business of mining, exploration. And so there are timelines in this exploration period.
Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, Jandam, yopo.